A very good morning to everyone. We had a good kickoff yesterday with a lot of discussions around innovation and emerging trends with over 150 attendees last evening. So continuing that today, as you all know, this is the fourth year TiE DC is running GovCon, and it started very small about 4 years back, and then the focus has always been in bringing innovation into the Capital Beltway and helping small businesses grow. So with that, what I wanted to first do was maybe give a brief background for some of the folks who are new here without any detail about what TiE is all about, and then give you a background about TiE DC. So TiE has its roots, as many of you know, in the Silicon Valley, started about 30 years back. And that was when a bunch of entrepreneurs came in and said, hey, can we give our best practices learning to first-time entrepreneurs? And the spirit of give back actually became very viral. And now today, we have close to 60 chapters globally that does the same mission of mentoring, educating, investing, and of course, scaling all these small businesses. And TiE DC adopted a slightly different approach, where we said, while we start doing these things, we will also try and make measurable impact across these areas. So TiE picked up GovCon as an area of focus, where most of the members here are GovCon centric and 8A women-owned hub zones, and we said, how can we help them? And so this conference is all about GovCon. We do have a big focus in TiE DC Angels, where we work with the local ecosystem founders and startups and not only invest, but end up mentoring them and advising them and scaling them. I think that's really where, and that's where the TiE umbrella comes into picture, where all the TiE chapters have a very, very specific area of expertise focus. Like, for example, Silicon Valley is all about high tech, Boston is all about medical devices, and so we bring all these things together and making happen. And this year, we made quite a few investments in startups, including some medical devices companies like Oxyware and 3IDX. And last year, I think we made investments in cyber companies like Karsha and a few others, and all of them are scaling well. So going forward, I think we'll be making a lot of these impact in that area. The third one is all about diversity and inclusivity. So it's just not having what I call as focused on the women, but also minority race businesses. So we have a lot of members on the board, including Nicole Washington, Sumit, who do a lot of these programs. Finally, what we also thought as impact was not just doing it for the entrepreneurs, but for the next generation. So we said, let's invest and make the next generation better. So TYE is one of those programs where we have run this very successfully for 10 years. Every year, 50 to 60 kids come in, go through a boot camp for 13 weeks, and in the end, they pitch up their companies or their product or ideas, and that gets rolled up in the global level. And last year, I think we did our best. I think our team from DC actually went and won the globals, competing with 20 other chapters. So that's another impact we do in the high school area. Finally, universities, where we're now expanding. We're doing hackathons, and we'll eventually get to where we want to be going. With that, I wanted to take a few moments in thanking the GovCon committee members. We have an awesome program yesterday, where board members Juhi and Sumit Srivatsava, they rolled off the first time Elite Awards. We had over 150 guests, and we were able to recognize 3 industry leaders and 3 government leaders, and so that's the first step in kicking this whole thing off. And in coming years, I think we'll be having more and more traction around it. Tomorrow we have a whole session on technology showcase, where Prabha and Mahesh, both board members, they'll be highlighting a few innovation from outside the Beltway and how they can really impact the government problems that we are trying to solve. Then, of course, we have other members, including Srini Baireddy, Mark Emery, Raj Patil, Sumit Luthra. They've been managing content for a lot of the other panels that you'll be listening to today. And of course, thank you, Manish and Pallavi. They've been the co-chairs in making the whole thing happen. So, and I also have, I think we talked about an extremely talented board and diverse board that we have that's been supporting. And finally, the crew that has been making all these things happen behind the curtains. Thank you, Jennifer, Annabelle. With that, I wanted to quickly kick off today's. I know there's a lot of content and action that's going to be happening around digital modernization, hybrid cloud. We have speakers from Ginime, Red Hat, Nutanix, Harmonia, of course. We are also having a lot of federal government CIOs and CTOs coming, including Rob Brown from USCIS, Andrea from Homeland Security, Scott Pernell Sanders from, again, Homeland Security, all of them talking about blockchain, tokenization, AI, ML later in the day. And we also have the whole CMS crew later in the afternoon on a health panel, including Dr. Meena Seshamani, Julie Bond, and Jeff Grant, all talking about the policies, the regulations, and how health data is going to be, evolving for the next, 5-10 years. We also have big data and analytics. Dominic Keating from USPTO, Julie Anderson from IBM, and Ananta Bangalore from Percipient, talking about the evolving trends around it, and of course, closing the day with cyber and defense panel from Carlos Sanchez from NIH, Srinivas from Ivanti, and Molly Breen from Pedigree. And to top it all, I think we have a very exciting speaker, Aileen Filler-Kahn, who's the Speaker of Virginia, House of Delegates. I think the first woman in 400 years of history who's reached this spot. She'll be here to share about how Virginia is, adopting and supporting innovation. But before that, we have an exciting keynote here. We have Troy Lemel-Stowell, who is the CEO and Executive Director at TEDCO. As all of you know, TEDCO is the fountainhead that really is getting innovation into the Maryland area. And when I say Maryland, it's obviously the DMV that's going to benefit out of the whole thing. And we were just having some chat in the back room where he was talking about all the cool things that Maryland is trying to do and trying to get startups going in this area. So I don't want to go through the whole bio of Troy, and it's all on the website, but a few things I want to highlight. I think it's 30 years of experience is in investment management, VC, and I think he's done a lot of VC investments, entrepreneurship, higher education, information communication technology, and more than that, management consulting, all in one. I think he's going to be coming and talking about how TEDCO is going to be impacting this area. So with that, please join me in welcoming Troy Stowell.